Hi everyone. Today we're going to be making the cover to the 4th of July Junk Journal booklet. We'll just make the cover today because we're going to allow our glue to dry before we insert the pages. So this won't be too long of a video, but I just want to show you how I do it. These are some of the things I figured I was going to decorate the cover with. I have a little gnome. This is the outer cover. We're going to cut this to the size of the base that we have. Here's what we're going to need. A piece of cardstock, whatever color you think is going to go with your theme. I picked the navy blue to go with all the blues and reds. And all we're going to see of this is the outer edge, like 1/8 of an inch, because we're going to cover it with this. So you need that piece of cardstock in the color of your choice, and whatever you're going to put on the cover. I chose this paper, and I'll just cut it to fit. And you need color for the inside of your book. Now this one I kind of printed it backwards, but that's okay. I'm going to cut it. This will be the front inside cover, and this will be the back. So I'm going to show you how we get to that point. So what we're going to need to do, let's put this aside, we'll do the outside first. Now I know this is 5.5 by 8.5, because I started with an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. I folded it in half, that's all I did. I didn't add a spine. So I know this is 5.5 by 8.5. Now in order to end up with it a little bit smaller than the page, so that I have a border, I'm going to cut this sheet at 5.25 by 8.25. So I'm just going to get out my cutting board. For some reason my camera is very crooked today and I just can't get it straight. So it's not your eyes, it's me. Alright, we'll get it right. It'll work. Okay. So we want to cut this 5.25 inches wide. What do I want for the front? This or this? Doesn't really matter. So we'll cut it this way. Get it in our cutting board here. Backwards, of course. Starting out good. Okay, we're good. 5.25. Line it up on your 5.25 inch line. Make sure you're straight at the top. And cut. Now this piece is going to be the back, so I'll put that aside. Now here we want to cut this at 8.25. So I'm just going to take off 1/4 of an inch. Have to open up my little arm here. We want 8.25. Perfect. Straight along the top. Put down your little face and cut. There we go. We've cut off 1/4 of an inch, which we don't need. So this is going to be the front. Now we'll cut the back. We need 5.5. So I'm going to turn it this way. 5.5. No, 5.25. Sorry, don't go by my numbers. 5.25. Line it up along the line, along the top. Make sure you're straight. Cut that side off. Don't need that. Now we want 8.25. Remember, we're taking off 1/4 of an inch on both sides so that we will have 1/8 of an inch border all around. 1/8 and 1/8 is 1/4. Okay. So now we have both pieces cut. This is the back. We can put away the cutting board. Now here's our cover, our base cover. Here's our piece. Let's test it out before we glue it. Yes, that's what I want. You see that border all around? About 1/8 of an inch. Excuse the sniffling. I think I have a cold. Here's a little label I'm also going to put on the front. Let's move everything out of the way. Now I'm gonna use my glue stick on this because wet glue might make it all pucker up. I have my big Oohoo glue stick. Pull it out. Now I want to make sure I'm going over the edge, so I have a paper under me here, so I can go over the edge, because we don't want anything peeling up. So go all around the edges first. A couple of passes on that. Now this edge, getting the corners well. And now this side. And now I've got glue over there. Get this out of the way. So now I'm just going to put glue all in the middle. Just run your glue stick up and down. Wall down, however works for you. You just want the whole thing to stick to the front of your cover. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Uh-oh, I have a big lump here. Let's get that off. Okay, that's good. And now look for my bone folder, which I forgot to get out. I can't find it. I'll just use my ruler. Okay. Bring in your base. Now turn it the way you want it. I want the stars on the bottom. And I'm just going to line up. Whoa. This glue is pretty sticky. One of the corners first. Get over there. Oh no. I think because I have the fan on, lining up the bottom. The top should not be sticking. Doesn't look very straight to me. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's smooth out the rest. Not on there perfect, but it's fine. I didn't find my bone folder. I'm just going to use my ruler. I'm going to press the glue out. All around. Quite a bit of pressure. Make sure you get your corners well. I do have a streak of something on here, but that's okay. There. Something was on my ruler, I guess. Okay, so that's on. That's on the front. So I was thinking of using this. Putting on this little gnome, which I printed it twice. Once with the design on it, and once just plain white. And I glued them together to give it a little bit more sturdiness. And then I added glossy accents, which I love, to the nose and the hands to make them stand out a little bit more, because I couldn't quite figure out where his nose was and where his hands were. So now I can see that. I also have this label I made, which I'm going to put on here, and I will write 4th of July and a year. You can make a label that's a little bigger if you want more room, but that's good for me. This way I'll know what each booklet is for by looking at the front. Since we can't put a label on the spine, so I'll know. We're not going to put this on yet. We're going to glue on the back piece now. This part. So let's get out our paper. Okay, it's not too sticky. and a glue stick, again, which I've made a mess of. Let's see if we can get some of this over here. Okay, we're going to go over the edge, all the edges, just like we did before. Making sure we get our corners and all the edges, so nothing peels up. Okay, now the center. You don't have to cover the entire piece, just most of it. Don't leave any big lumps behind. Okay, now peel off the paper. Very good. Bring in our base, and we'll glue this on, hopefully better than before. Okay. I'm looking to line up the corner and the bottom without laying down anything else. Yeah. This is where white glue, wet glue, comes in handy, but for this I don't want the paper to bubble up. So I'll take down this right side first to what looks like 1/8 of an inch to me. Very crooked. Oh. Okay, patience. You have to have patience. The corner lined up. There we go. We have a straight edge right there. Let's see if everything else works out. I think it should. It'll be a little crooked, but it won't be noticeable. And into the back. Okay, now spread it out. Give it a good rub. Make sure your glue is sticking all around the edges and the corners. That's important because you don't want it to peel up. So let's do back. That's fine. Front and back. Okay, now we're going to do the inside. Same thing. We'll need the same measurement, I figure. Oops, my rule is upside down. So we're going to cut it 5 1/4 by 8 1/4 again. This time we're putting this paper. This will be on the front page. Paper trimmer. Okay, now this one. I want 5 1/4. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can get a measurement at 5 1/4. I'm not going to worry about that little white on the bottom. We'll cut that off. Line it up. 5 1/4 inch line. Make sure the top is straight. And trim that off. Put this aside. That'll be the back cover. Okay, now we want 8 1/4. So let's see what we have to cut off here. 8 1/4 is right there. Lining it up. Excuse me. Trim off the bottom. And there we have the front piece. Okay, now we need the back. This looks like this is way too wide. I'm going to cut off a little bit on this right hand side first. Lining it up. Getting it straight. It looks like about 1/8 of an inch. Not even. We'll see what we end up with. Okay, we want 5 1/4. Even at the top, and even on the left hand side with your 5 1/4 inch mark, and trim that off. That looks pretty even. Now it's a little bit of white at the top I want to take off. This was what, 8 1/4? Oh, I didn't cut that yet. Alright, so put it at the 8¼ inch mark. Line it up. And cut that off. And we end up with a piece of 5¼ by 8¼ and what I was trying to do is to make sure this blue border was even on both sides and the top and the bottom. So it's pretty close. Okay, let's put away the paper trimmer. We don't need that at all anymore. Now we're going to start with, we'll do the back inside cover first, which is this one. Let's test it out before we put it on. Before we put the glue on. Looks good. Okay, what I'm going to do here to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to glue this edge to start with. And then I'll put it down and I'll glue as I go. It won't be so difficult to line it up. So right here, I am 1/8 inch from the fold. Let's see the top. I'll put down a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to press down that edge that I glued. And now I'm just going to lift this up and put glue on the inside on the paper. It's okay if you get it outside of where it's going to be. It'll dry clear. I need glue. Okay, now we're going to work it from the center on in. Much easier to glue it this way, especially when using a glue stick. Like I said, when you're using white glue or wet glue, you have that option of sliding it around where you want it. Whereas with the glue stick, you don't have that option. Hope I'm in the right way, yes. Okay, that's the back. I'll just give it a press. Make sure the glue is all pressed down. No bumps, no lumps. Corners are down. Corner needs a little bit of glue. I'm sorry, I'm off camera a little bit here. Let me get back in. There we go. This corner. I'm putting a little bit of glue here. It didn't stick. There we go. Press it out. That's the back cover. Now we're going to put the front on here. Same way. I'm going to turn it on an angle. I'm just going to put some glue on this edge. And I'll stick that down and then we'll glue the rest. Okay. Get my glue stick going here. Just that edge. That's all we want to catch right now. Okay, I'm going to line it up at the center fold. 1/8 inch away and from the edges. Even with the other piece. 1/8 inch from the fold. My head in the way now. Just check. Okay, we can press that down. Okay, now I'll turn it. Lift this up and put down our glue. Making sure this time my corners get glued. Okay. All over. Okay, enough glue. Now start pressing from the center out. Lead finger. That came out very well. Nice and even. Okay, now press it down. your corners, the edges. And there we have the inside. Now before we put our pages in, I want to allow this to glue. I'm going to lay it out flat, and I'm going to put something heavy on the top so it doesn't curl up, which it's tending to do. So we'll let this dry, and then we'll come back in the next video and we'll put in our pages. You remember, we're not making as many pages in here as in a regular junk journal, because this is a special event book. This book is only for 4th of July, so it only has 16 pages. We picked out all our pages in the last video. That's our center. And we have our pages. Okay, so in the next video, I'll show you, we will sew in the signature using a large eye needle and a piece of wax thread. Doesn't have to be that. Any kind of heavy cotton thread will do. Crochet cotton, even twine. I don't know how long twine will last. It may break at some point, but it would work. And you don't have a lot of pages, so I think it would hold. But I'm going to use my wax thread. All came in a little kit I got on Amazon. Came with the needles, the awl to make the holes, and different colors of the wax thread spools. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so we're getting there. Like I said, I'm going to allow this to dry. Put something heavy on it. I'm upside down. Here we go. And then we'll work on the inside. I have a couple ideas for pockets too. Kind of different. Not just rectangles. Okay. Thanks for coming. Hope you liked this video. Please hit the like button and leave me a comment. And also hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next video is up, hit the bell and you'll be notified when I put up the next video. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.